Startup Stories in association with Olook.in.
There's a friend of mine who's got a good saying, which is that starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. When you first start a company, there's lots of optimism and things are great. And then, so happiness at first is high. Then you encounter all sorts of issues, and happiness will steadily decline.
When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we...
Father, very good morning, Father.
Good morning, good morning.
Father, can we start the program, Father?
Yeah, ready.
Thank you so much, Father.
Yeah, please.
It's a glad welcome we bring to you this morning, filled with the desires, hopes, and dreams we all share. A very good morning to all. It's been an immense pleasure for me to welcome you all for the inauguration of Muybridge 2021. The Muybridge Film Club of the Department of English places its vision around Tarantino's words to make the students look at movies with varied critical perspectives. It provides opportunities for the hidden talents among the student community. The club aims to provide the students with exposure to showcase the talents and enlighten them in all areas of filmmaking. The motto of the club is to envision, enact, and empower. On behalf of the Muybridge Film Club of the Department of English, I extend a cordial welcome to you all. Seek God in everything you do, and He will direct you towards the righteous path. Let us join our hands in prayer and supplication as we invoke God's blessings. Prayer song.
Films are the expression of imagination. It is the imagination and creativity of the mind that is captured through the eyes of a picture. I welcome you all to the inauguration of Muybridge Film Club 2021. I would like to welcome our respected Rector, Reverend Dr. LatinAutor SJ, and Secretary, Reverend Dr. Peter SJ, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. The highest authority always sets out to make a difference and molds people into their best being. I welcome our Honorable Principal, Reverend Dr. Arockiasamy Xavier SJ, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. Welcome, Father. Anyone may speak. Only a few people inspire with their words and personality. I welcome our ever-inspiring, the head of the department, Dr. V.L. Jayapal, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. Welcome, sir. Advertising is an art that is prepared to impress the audience and capture their hearts. Who can excel it more than our chief guest? A special welcome to the resource person, Mr. Adrian David, Copywriter, Ogilvy. Welcome, sir. A path filled with thorns, in the presence of a guide, ornaments itself into a root of flowers. Such is the glory of our teachers. I welcome the coordinator of the Muybridge Film Club, Professor B. Sam Jerome Sharon, and the assistant coordinator, Dr. D. R. Edwin Christie, St. Joseph's College, Trichy. I also welcome the association president of our English department, Dr. S. Saji, St. Joseph's College, Trichy, and all our dignified members of the staff. Welcome, teachers. I extend my welcome note to the student secretaries, Mr. Harish and Mr. Reni, and to all the students present here. Once again, I welcome you all. Welcome.
I thank Ms. Danis for a warm welcome. Felicitate the small initiative. Initiative is the intention that persists in a person by cause. Now I would like to invite the pillar of our college, the captain of this big ship, Reverend Dr. M. Arockiasamy Xavier SJ, Principal of St. Joseph's College, to felicitate this event.
Thank you. Dear and beloved Dr. V.L. Jayapal, the head of the Department of English of our college. Dr. Sam Jerome Sharon, the coordinator of this Muybridge Film Club, and the assistant coordinator, Dr. Edwin Christie, my dear professors, and my dear students, my dear special guest, Dr. Adrian David, good morning to you all. First of all, I am very, very happy to be associated with this film club, which is doing wonderful work, nice work. And I should thank the coordinators, coordinator Sam Jerome and assistant coordinator Christy, along with the HOD, for organizing this webinar. Now, this is very, very useful webinar. As you all know, not only this is the only program, they have been organizing many programs for the integral growth of our students. English department has been organizing a number of educative programs and also programs for their empowerment. And I'm very, very happy that they are doing wonderfully well. Not only they are doing the programs for your department, also for the whole college. I am thankful to the department for their imparting knowledge and skills to all the students in the campus. Fine. Now, my dear students, they are not only imparting the knowledge and also developing your skills, and they are very helpful to identify your potential in many areas, and they create opportunity. They provide platforms. They create space for you to come up in your life. And they also create exposure programs. And I was very much touched by the motto of your Muybridge Film Club, that is envision, enact, and empower. In actualizing this motto, you have been organizing many programs, and this year, now at present, you are organizing Muybridge Film Club. That is one of the webinar series that with the resource person, Adrian David, the copywriter, and he is going to speak on advertising 101. I do not know anything about that. And I would love to be part of this program, but I have another program at 11 o'clock. I should be present there, and I wish you all the best. First of all, I would like to thank Adrian David for accepting to be the resource person to our students, to speak on advertising on at one for our students. Surely it will be very, very helpful for our students. Surely our students will learn a lot, and you will enlighten them. And I also once again appreciate and thank Dr. V.L. Jayapal and the organizers for organizing this program. Also the professors who are motivating our students to attend this program. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you further. Now with pleasure, I would like to invite Mr. Maria Kaiser Aaron from 2nd MA English to introduce about our resource person.
Good morning, Reverend Father Principal, our esteemed HOD, professors, my dear friends. Hope you all are doing well and keeping in good health. Before introducing the chief guest, let me start by telling you a short story. On this day, 57 years ago, Argentine revolutionary Che Guevara was executed by the US government. Ever since, his face has turned into a brand. It's found in t-shirts, books, placards, protests, and profile pictures, and etc. At some point in time, many of you have either shared or come across his photo on social media. So what made a young man from the island nation of Cuba famous all over the world as a symbol of rebellion and revolution? The answer is one word: advertising. So advertising has the power to greatly impact our minds. In words of renowned advertising executive Leo Burnett, good advertising does not just circulate information. It penetrates the public with desires and belief. To know more about the intricacies of the field, we are going to hear a short informative lecture on advertising today. The speaker is Adrian David, my college mate from Loyola College, Chennai. Let me tell a bit about him. Adrian is a copywriter at Ogilvy, one of the top international advertising agency with worldwide presence in over 83 countries, which was founded by David Ogilvy, who is widely regarded as a father of advertising. He completed his BSc Visual Communication at Loyola College with a specialization in advertising production and copywriting. During his college days, he was conferred the Diligence and Regularity Award for maintaining 100% attendance across all his 6 semesters. Besides, he completed a certificate in digital marketing from Loyola Institute of Business Administration. After a brief stint with the advertising agency J. Walter Thomas, he joined Ogilvy as a copywriting intern in 2017. Soon he joined as a full-time copywriter with them and has since worked on campaigns for brands like Vodafone and Radisson Blu, to name a few. He was nominated as the Best Young Creative of the Year for the year 2020 in Ogilvy. Apart from work, his interest lies in reading books, namely literary classics by Russian authors like Fyodor Dostoevsky and Anton Chekhov. Among his favorite quotes is by Saint Oscar Romero: "Aspire not to have more, but to be more." Likely the weather is so good today, so without consuming any time, I would like to call upon Adrian David to accompany us on the platform to enlighten us with his word of true wisdom. Over to you, Adrian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Arun, for this wonderful lines about our resource person. Sweetest of all sounds is praise. Without further ado, I now invite our resource person, Mr. Adrian David, copywriter, Ogilvy, to speak on Advertising 101. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to one and all. Am I audible?
You're audible.
Sir, you're audible.
Okay. Good morning to one and all. It's a great honor to be a part of St. Joseph's College, Trichy, and I thank Sir Aaron for the introduction. He's a very talented person, and it was a great honor to be invited to this esteemed institution. And it's great to see Father Xavier as the principal over here, because like when I was studying in Loyola, he was the principal back then. So it was great to see him, and it's a brilliant honor to be part of this program. So I'd like to start it by presenting the PPT. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, Adrian.
Yeah. Yeah. So the topic I'm going to talk today is advertising 101. So the basics of advertising. So I'd like to start by asking you all a simple question. What's the most resilient parasite? So some of you might think it's a bacteria. Few of you may think it's a virus, like especially within the times of the pandemic. So you might think it's the coronavirus. But the answer is it's an idea. So this is a line from the film Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and directed by Christopher Nolan. So in that movie he says, an idea is like a virus. Resilient, it's highly contagious. And even the smallest seed of an idea can grow. It can grow to define or destroy it. So advertising is all about ideas.
Excuse me, Adrian. Your voice is
Advertising is the marketing communication.
AD, hello. Excuse me, Adrian.
Yeah. Now is it clear? No.
Could you, can you speak?
Yeah. Now is my voice clear? Hello. Hello. Yeah. Now is my voice clear? Hello.
Now it's
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sorry for the interruption. So your voice is breaking, sir, and then it's echoing.
Oh. Now is it clear, sir? If I keep the mic like this?
It's still echoing, sir.
If it's close. Echoing.
Closed room, then now is it clear, sir?
So, hello, sir.
Yeah, now is it clear, sir?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yes.
Could you raise your volume, sir?
Yes, sir.
But the volume is a little bit low.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Your voice is too low.
One second, sir. Just turning it.
Is there any possibility to change the setup, sir?
Yes, sir. Now is it clear, sir? Hello?
But your volume is very low, sir.
Yes, sir. 1 second, sir. I'll just change it.
Hello, sir. Is it clear now, sir?
Now it's better, sir. Please continue.
Is my voice clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is my voice clear?
Not, sir. Your voice is not clear, sir. It's still echoing.
So, now is it clear, sir?
Yes, sir. And now it's better, sir. But somewhat the voice clarity is missing, sir.
Okay. So I'll just talk now. If you feel my voice is echoing, I can use a different name. Okay. Advertising is a marketing communication that employs an openly sponsored, non-personal message to promote or sell a product, service, or idea. Is it clear, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Yes, sir. Is it clear now, sir? My voice, whatever I spoke.
Sorry, sir. It's not clear. Sir, give me a minute. I will call you, sir.
Sir, is my voice clear now, sir? Hello, sir. Is my voice clear now, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's okay now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, the clarity is good now. Please increase the volume, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've increased the volume. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, sir. Now it's clear.
Yes.
You can go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is my screen visible now, sir?
It's visible, sir. Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah.
Your voice is also fine, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. As I was talking, sorry for the disturbance. Yeah. So, advertising is a marketing communication that employs an openly sponsored personal message to promote or sell a product, service, or idea. So, speaking in terms of product, product can be a toothbrush, it can be a biscuit packet, and a service can be a laundry service, it can be an internet service, and an idea can be like it can be as simple as like keep your surroundings clean or save water. Those are ideas. So moving on, so the word advertising is derived from the Latin word advertere. It means to turn one's attention. So advertising is a marketing communication that employs an openly sponsored non-personal message to promote or sell a product, service, or idea. And an advertisement is a piece of communication that intends to inform, persuade, or influence the audience. So the advertising has three main functions. So the first function is the economic function. So the economic function is to create a wider market for the brand. For example, if there is a company which is selling a certain product and they want to expand into a different market, so they depend on advertising to maximize their brand visibility and take their brand to unknown markets. That is the economic function of advertising. So moving on, now the social function. So the social function of advertising is to create an improved standard of living and promote consumer welfare. For example, if you, in terms of standard of living, if you're buying a washing machine or a TV, like people generally, it improves their standard of living. Like it leads to consumer welfare. It makes your life easier. So that is the social function of advertising. So the psychological function is to affect the personality, attitudes, and opinions of the consumer. So, for example, if you are like, if there's an idea which says that turn off the lights, turn off the fans, like save electricity. You see an ad like that, and it influences you to save electricity. It influences you to become a more
Students, kindly please wait for some more time. Please don't leave the meeting. The resource person will be back in a moment, so please wait. Kindly don't leave the meeting.
Sorry, sir. Sorry for there was some network issues. Is my voice clear now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm continuing from where I left. David Ogilvy, he's widely regarded as the father of advertising. So this is one of his most famous quotes. And his approach was very customer centric. Like in an age when many people they were being product centric, he was more customer centric. And his most famous quote is, "The customer is not a moron, she's your wife." So he told that you have to treat the customer like your wife. Then only you can, then only the advertising will be powerful. So let me talk about the mediums of advertising. So we have the print medium. So as you know, print consists of newspapers, magazines, flyers, leaflets. And the next is television advertising. So as you know, television advertising, it consists of TV commercials, then TV spots, etc. Then electronic advertising, it's generally related to radio advertising, FM channels, and similar sound-based advertising. Then outdoor advertising. Outdoor advertising is generally what you see in billboards and hoardings outside, like when you're driving on the highway, you see billboards, so that is outdoor advertising. And the latest in this category is digital advertising. So digital advertising is what we see today in today's social media and today's digital world, that is considered digital advertising. So let me move on to the components of advertising. So advertising, it has four main components: strategy, media, creative idea, and creative execution. So only these four components, they function together in tandem, advertising will be effective. So the first component, advertising strategy. So strategy is the logic and planning behind the ad that gives it direction. So every ad should have a rational behind it. It should have a logic behind it. Like if you're doing something, only if it's logical, it will translate and it will make sense. Yeah. So advertisers, they develop ads to meet objectives. It's very objective in nature. You have an objective, you need to fulfill it through advertising. And advertisers, they direct ads to intended audiences. Like they identify the audiences and they direct it to them. Advertisers, they create a message that speaks to the audience's concerns. So the messaging is on a very personal level. It's on a B2, in terms of marketing, you have two terms. You have B2B and B2C. B2B means business to business, like wherein a business is speaking to another business. And B2C is a business is speaking to the consumer. So advertising is generally it's talking to the consumer directly, and it addresses the consumer's concerns, like the personal concerns, etc. And advertisers, they run the ads in the most effective media. So for some products, television media would be the best medium to promote their product, and for some brands, the radio would be the best place to promote their product. So the next component of advertising is creative idea. So the creative concept is the central idea that grabs the consumer's attention and it sticks in your memory. So the planning strategy, it requires creative problem solving. And this research, it involves creativity. So every advertising part, it involves a lot of research. So only if it's researched properly, the advertising will be effective. And buying and placing ads, it requires creative thinking. Like only if you are a very creative thinker, even in real life, you can be stable when you do advertising. So the execution part. So the execution part is the part after ideation wherein everything happens. So effective ads are well executed, and clients, they demand the best production the budget allows. So everything depends on the budget. So if the budget is around like a certain amount, the advertising, it will, in that given amount, what is the best possible output that can be obtained. So that's what most advertisers do. And the next component is media planning and buying. So television, internet, magazines and other media, they used to reach a broader audience. So deciding how to deliver the message, that also requires creativity. So this would seem like more of a business oriented process, but even this process, you need a lot of creative thinking to do this. So yeah, so here's a quote by Henry Ford. He is the founder of the Ford Motor Company. So he has famously said, stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. So this quote, it emphasizes how advertising is important for a brand. So this is the advertising appeal. So there are different appeals that...
Sir, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah.
So your PPT is still in the same slide, so the David Ogilvy. It's not changing, sir.
Oh, my slide is not changing, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
it's still on 10th slide, sir.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Now is it changing? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Slide.
Yeah.
Now it's fine, sir.
Now it's fine. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So if it doesn't change, please intimate me. I will fix it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So sorry for the inconvenience. I'll just take you through quickly. So as I said, mediums of advertising, you have print, you have television, you have electronic as radio, then you have outdoor, and you have digital advertising media. The next slide, you have the components of advertising like strategy, media, creative idea, and creative execution. Then you have the components of advertising, like as I said, the strategy. The strategy is like it's similar to a military strategy. So when a country is going to war, like you have the chief of defense personnel, they do a strategy like how to attack, from which side we should attack, and how many tanks we should employ, how many soldiers we must employ, where the Air Force should be positioned, where the Navy should be positioned. So similarly, advertising also requires a similar kind of strategy, like what types of medium should you employ, like where you should position the product, so at which geographical area you should release the advertisement. So there are things like that. And yeah, as I told, creative idea, that's the process wherein the idea is created. Then the creative execution part, like as I said, it's the execution of the idea. Like from the idea, it's you take it to the execution. So it's similar to the birth of a baby. So if I give an example, it's like the idea part could be the part where the baby is in the womb of the mother, and the execution part is wherein the baby is like being born. Yeah, the next thing is the media planning and buying. So the television, internet, magazines and other media, they used to reach a broad audience, and whatever you choose the media that wherein your product will, it will be better advertised. Yeah. So yeah, moving on to advertising appeal. So moving on to this slide. So advertising appeals, it refers to the approach used to attract the attention of customers or to influence their feelings toward a brand, product or service. It is the central idea of an advertisement, and it speaks to an individual's need, wants or interests, and entices him or her to take the desired action, which is generally buy me. So I'll give you the list of appeals. So we have rational appeal, personal appeal, social appeal, emotional appeal, sexual appeal, and human appeal. So rational appeal. Rational appeal is generally logic-based appeal. So I'll give you an example. So this is the rational appeal. So this is very. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the rational appeal. So it's very based on logic, very hard facts, like demonstrated facts. So the rational appeal of this ad for deodorant is, you might have all seen this ad on TV. So the appeal is, the messaging is, other deodorants, they are filled with gas, but fog deodorant, it's filled with liquid, and it gives you more sprays. So that was the messaging, and the appeal is based on purely logic. So the logic is over here is like other brands, they give you low output, but fog it gives you more output. So that's the rational appeal. The next slide. So this is the personal appeal. So the personal appeal, as the name suggests, it's very personal in nature. Like it addresses you alone. Like if you are the consumer, you are looking at it, it connects with you. It's like a friend talking to you. So if you look at this ad, it tells you it's an ad for a bed mattress. So they say that mattress that lets you finish every dream. The overall design of the ad as well as the messaging, it's like personally talking to you. And they use the words like you to address you, like they talk to you in the second person. The next ad. So this is a very famous ad that won an award in the Cannes Advertising Festival. So this ad is the fear appeal. So the fear appeal generally means it uses fear to drive home the message. So if you look at this creative ad, it's like a guy is talking on the phone to his wife, and suddenly out of the phone blood is coming. So it refers to like don't like talk while someone is driving. So you are also a culprit, and it instills fear in you. Like when you look at this ad, the first emotion you get is fear. So that is the fear appeal. Next is the emotional appeal. So as human beings are very emotional people, and many brands, they tap into the emotions, and they make you feel and feel emotional about their message. So, for example, this is from the campaign of an NGO called Save the Children. So, this ad shows the photo of a malnourished baby, and the messaging says, "He's so sick, he could die before you get to work." So they say that like in the country of Bangladesh, like the healthcare is very low. So there are many babies dying. So they make you feel they make you feel sad, and they make you feel worried, and they tap into your emotions and they exploit your emotions to like make you do something. So over here, the action point is like you will naturally, when someone sees this, they will donate to the NGO. Moving on. So next is the sex appeal. So as you know, this is the ad for Axe deodorant. So the sex appeal generally taps into the person's the sexual sense, and they use they use explicit images, and they use like very spicy images and all to show a message. So in this Axe message, they say that even angels will fall. So when you spray on the Axe deodorant, even like the angel from heaven, they'll fall. So that's the message over here. So the next is the social appeal. So the social appeal generally refers to the society in general. In over here, an example is like it's an ad for recycling. So it says reduce, reuse, and recycle. So it gives you the this is the photo of the Statue of Liberty. It's like brimming with it's like covered in garbage, covered in trash fully. So they say that like you look at this, and as a responsible citizen, you feel socially responsible, and you take an action that impacts the society. So that's the social appeal. The next is the humor appeal. So the humor appeal, it's generally humorous in nature, as the name suggests, and it's made to tickle a funny bone in you. So over here, this was an ad during the pandemic. The copy says, "Best time ever to get braces." As you know, like generally people, they are very embarrassed to wear braces, and this ad messaging says that you can wear braces under the mask, so you won't feel embarrassed. So this is a very fun way of showing a braces ad. Yeah. So moving on to the next slide. So it's referring to the stakeholders in advertising. So every institution, every field has a stakeholder. So for example, you are studying in a college, and in the college, the stakeholders are the faculty, the students, and the parents. So that you have different stakeholders. Similarly, in advertising, you have different stakeholders. So the first stakeholder was the advertiser. So the advertiser is generally the brand. So let's see how advertising helps the stakeholder. So when it comes to the advertiser or the brand, advertising helps boost the sales. Then it helps, if there's a market, it helps maintain the existing market. For example, if a brand has a 30% market share of the mobile sales in a certain country, like for example, like in China, if a mobile brand has 30% market share, advertising must help them retain the 30% market share. And advertising helps control the product prices. If a product is priced at a certain range, so advertising, if the advertising is good, it will help raise the prices. So and it controls the prices. Yeah. So the next stakeholder is the middleman. So middlemen are your wholesalers, retailers, people like them. So for them, advertising, it guarantees big sales and it helps with the retail price maintenance. Yeah. Moving on to the next slide. The next stakeholder are the salespersons. So advertising, it helps the salesperson by creating a background. And if the salesperson is like selling a product, the person need not explain anything to the consumer, because the consumer has seen the product on TV. They themselves will know about it. So to give an example, you go to a electronics store to buy a television, and over there you have the salesman or saleswoman who's trying to sell you a TV. So they don't need to explain everything to you, each and everything to you. Like you will have seen the ad for the TV and you will be knowing about it yourself. And it instills self-confidence in the salesperson. So if they are, the salesperson is like selling a product or if they are giving a service, advertising helps them be more confident in their approach. So the next stakeholder are the consumers. So advertising helps with the decision-making process and it saves time. Like you don't need to do everything by yourself. Like advertising, it informs you and it helps you in making a decision faster. So the next stakeholder is the society. The society, advertising helps uplift the living standards and it educates and informs. So the next slide, let's see the roles of advertising. So there are 4 roles when it comes to advertising. So the first role is the marketing role. So as you already may know, marketing is the process the business uses to satisfy consumer needs and wants through goods and services. The next role is the communication role. Advertising is a form of mass communication. It's generally done to communicate a message. The next role is the economic role. So we have 2 main views of advertising. There are 2 models. It's the market power model of the economics of information theory. So the market power model means like it translates into economic share, like it's related to money. Economics and information theory, it's not related to money, but it's more of related to information. The next role is the societal role. So advertising informs us about new and improved products. It teaches how to use these innovations, etc. Okay, the next slide is the target audience. So every product, every media has a target audience. So target audience refers to a specific group of consumers most likely to want the product or service, and therefore the group of people who should see the ad campaigns. So target audience may be dictated by age, gender, income, location, interest, or a myriad of other factors. So here are some factors that determine the target audience. So geographics. So in geographics you have city, region, climate, communities, countries, etc. So if you are advertising air cooler or a AC air conditioner, generally you will advertise it more in places that are more humid. And if you are advertising a heater, you will advertise it in places that are cold. So if there are places like Russia and Finland that are very cold in nature, so it makes sense if you can advertise a room heater in those countries. But if you advertise the same room heater in a place like Nigeria or a place like South Africa, it won't make much sense. Yeah, so that is the target audience, and different products have different target audience. So some products, they cater to the rural segments like villages and small towns. So some products, they cater to upper class metropolitan cities. Yeah. So and after geographics, the demographics come in. So age, gender, race, religion, income, education, and language spoken. So the age. So there are certain products that only can cater to predominantly cater to a certain age. For example, like you have candies. Candies, they generally cater to little children, like kids and like children. And gender. So when it comes to gender, you have like beard oils, like oils used for growing your beard. So beard oil is generally catered towards men, and the sanitary napkins. So sanitary napkins, they generally cater to women. And you have religion. So religion, you have cycle pure, you have all these incenses and all. So they cater to a certain religion. So then you have income. So if you are selling a BMW car, you will be selling it to someone who's having a very large income, a very substantial income. And if you're selling a Toyota car, you will be selling it to someone with a lower range income than the person who's buying a BMW. And the language spoken. So if you're advertising in English, it will be for a certain market. If you're advertising in another language, it will be for another market. Yeah. Then the psychographics. So the psychographics, it's based on budget, beliefs, values, pain points, attitudes, social and cultural norms. So as you know, budget, it refers to the budget of a person, like how much budget they have, like what is their spending power. Next is the belief, values, and social and cultural norms. So, for example, like there are places that are very conservative in nature, like India and certain other countries in Asia. So, if you go there and if you advertise something that is like Western, it's very Western in nature, there will be a backlash. So, you have to keep in mind the values and beliefs of a society while advertising. Then you have the behavior. So behavior refers to the person's hobbies, habits, purchasing style, social media use, then mobile use and media consumption. So it refers to a person's individual behavior, like how they are as a person and what are their, what they do, etc. Okay, so this is just a small activity for you. So here's an image on the. This was a just funny image circulating on the internet. So this was a billboard for. So I'll just tell you the background behind this. So this was. It's just a funny story. It's like a person who was advertising for Coca-Cola. They came up with this idea. So if you see the first slide, it features a man on a desert who is very famished. He's drinking Coca-Cola and he's becoming very active. And he's running. So this ad was released in Saudi Arabia. So can anyone tell me like what is wrong with the ad? Like, but this ad didn't work out. Like many people they stopped buying Coca-Cola after seeing this ad. So can you tell me the reason? Hello, would anyone like to try?
The slide is in a contrary manner, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you come again, sir? What is your sir?
The slide is supposed to be in a different manner, but here it is in a contrary manner. The third picture is supposed to be first, then the first supposed to be second, and the middle is supposed to be last.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that is the correct answer. So generally, to be more specific, in Arabian countries they read from right to left. So over here we read from left to right. So why this ad idea didn't work out is because in Arabian countries when they read from right to left, you see a person who is very active. He is drinking Coca-Cola and is becoming very tired. So that was the cultural misunderstanding that happened. So this was a funny story that was circulating on social media, and yeah. So that is the context behind this. So this shows how much the target audience is important for a brand and its advertising. Yeah. So now let's see the principles of advertising. So the main principle of advertising is the AIDA principle. So AIDA stands for awareness, interest, desire, and action. So this is it demonstrates how advertising functions. So the first thing is awareness. Like only when you become aware of something, you will know that it exists. To give you an example, there is let me demonstrate it with the example. Like there's a shampoo. There's a shampoo that you want to buy. So according to AIDA principle, so So awareness, like you look at the ad for the shampoo on TV and you become aware that the shampoo exists. Then interest. You are interested in the shampoo, like you are interested to buy the shampoo. Like it just captures your interest. Then desire. Desire and interest are different things. Like interest is you're interested, but desire is like you want it badly. So you want the shampoo, that you desire the shampoo. The next is action. So action is something that you do next, and you buy the shampoo or you order it online. So that to make it more simpler, here's a chart. So attention means what is it? Interest means I like it. Desire means I want it. Action means I'm getting it. So this is the ADA model in a nutshell. Now, after talking about advertising, so I'm moving on to the advertising agency. So an advertising agency is often referred to as an ad agency. It's a business dedicated to creating, planning and handling advertising and sometimes other forms of promotion and marketing for its clients. So the departments there are 3 departments in an advertising agency: account managed, client servicing, creative department, and studio department. So you have the account management of the client servicing department. In advertising, account refers to a client. So in business, account refers to like accounting, etc. But in advertising, account means it's the client. The brand is referred to as an account. So client servicing, what client servicing people do is they do the communication strategy, they do the advertising strategy, and they talk to the client and they get a creative brief. Based on the brief, they give it to the creative department, and they do PPTs, and basically the client servicing is the bridge between the client and the agency. The next is the creative department. In the creative department, you have 2 subdivisions. You have copy and you have art. So copy generally refers to copywriting. Copywriting involves writing advertisements, writing TV scripts, TV commercial scripts, radio scripts, etc. And art refers to designing, graphic design, like designing layouts, designing print ads, designing digital ads, among others. As I told, copy refers to conceptualize. Like you have to ideate the concept for an ad. It involves creative writing, it involves content development, and it involves like writing radio scripts, TV scripts, and supervising it. The next department is the art department. Art department generally refers to visualizing. Like visualizing means you are just thinking of in terms of visuals, and you're designing and illustrating. So for this, softwares like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator are used, and layout execution and photoshoot supervision. So if a photoshoot is happening, for example, if a food photoshoot is happening, the art they'll go there and they will organize like how the product should be aesthetically arranged, etc. The next department is the studio department. The studio department, generally they are the final stage of the advertising process. So they are DTP operators, Photoshop artists, production managers, and proofreaders. So the studio department, they generally do image processing. So if there's an image that needs to be corrected, like it needs to be photoshopped, they do it. And adaptation. So adaptation is generally you have different magazines, you have different newspapers, you have different sizes. Certain newspapers, they follow a certain color palette. If the art director designs a full-page advertisement, and tomorrow the client wants to turn it to a half-page or a quarter-page advertisement, the studio department helps to adapt the ad to different sizes. So that's adaptation. Then artwork. Artwork generally refers to the final ad that will be going out of the agency for printing. Okay, now moving on to creative brief. So So what is a creative brief? A creative brief is a document used by creative professionals and agencies to develop creative deliverables. It's used to outline the strategy of a creative project. It contains project details including the project's purpose, goals, requirements, messaging, demographics, and other key information. So if I had to make a comparison, a creative brief is more of like a question paper. It's like a question paper given by the client to the agency. It's like do this. So what are the components of a creative brief? So a creative brief, it has like, why is the brief here? It has the background and the objective. Then who are we trying to influence? It refers to the target group. Then what we want them to do as a result of the communication. So do refers to the action objective. As in call to action. As in a person should subscribe to a service or they should buy a product. And how do we expect communications to work towards achieving this? These are the proposition. And what will help people to know this? And what will help people to feel this? So knowing and feeling is that message impacts you and it makes you feel something. And what are the mandatories? Like mandatories as in what is the size of the advertisement, if it's a television advertisement, what is the duration, etc. And channel, TV, or is it print? So this is generally the workflow and advertising. Then the creative brief, it's developed by the client servicing department. Then the creative development is done by the creative department. So the copywriter, they write the copy, and the art director, they design the ad. Then the client approval, it's sent to the client, and the client, they give the approval. If they need any changes, they give the changes. Then after client approval, then it comes to the internal approval. So internal approval is done by servicing, creative, and studio. So the creative department, if an ad, print ad is being released, they proof check it. Like there shouldn't be any spelling mistakes. There shouldn't be any inconsistencies in the color, in the design, etc. And the artwork is the final process. So the ad is being generated and it goes out of the agency, and it goes for printing, or it goes for, if it's a television ad, it goes for goes on ad, it goes on television. So this is the artwork flow, like how the artwork in the studio department will come. So the working file, it will come from the creative team to the studio, and so this is all very technical terms, like what happens in the studio. If you read through it, you'll know. The next slide is the approval process. So the art department, what they generally do is they check the logo. If the logo is placed correctly, they check the font, they check the color consistency, like how the color will be consistent, and they check the revisions. And the copy, they generally do check the proof, they proofread the stuff, and they check whether the revisions are incorporated. Then proofread is the final part, wherein they check for very minute spelling mistakes, minute spaces, misplaced punctuations. And the servicing, they check everything in whether there are a set. Every brand has a set of brand guidelines. If you see certain brands, they use a certain color. Vodafone predominantly uses red, and brands like Lifebuoy, they use red. Dettol uses green in nature. So they check whether the guidelines are adhered to. Check the fonts, they check the file format. So there are different types of advertising. So the first ad type is institutional advertising. So institutional advertising ideas and political issues, like this. If your college, St. Joseph's College, they were to make an advertisement, it will fall under the institutional advertising category. So the next thing is an advocacy. Advocacy promotes a company's position on a public issue. If a company wants to take a stand on an issue like global warming, or if a company wants to tell something about child labor, so So the company could create an ad that promotes advocacy. The company is advocating something. The next is, as the name says, is product advertising. So the product, it could be an electronic product, it could be an FMCG product. So the ad promotes the product's uses, features, and benefits. So the next is the pioneer ad. So the pioneer ad, they create a demand. They create the demand for something that's new that wasn't being used before. So to give you an example of a pioneer ad, you could take the beard oil example. So before that, people, they weren't using oil for their beards. Like generally, oil was being used for the hair only. But Beardo, they created a need wherein you need to use oil for your beard and it will help you grow your beard. So that is a pioneer advertising. The next is the competitive advertising. So the brand, they point out their specialties, like special features, uses, and disadvantages relating to competing brands. So they say like it's 2x more powerful than other. If a dishwash bar is being advertised, so the messaging could say this dishwash bar is 2x more powerful than other dishwash bars in the market. That is competitive advertising. Comparative advertising, that's, as the name says, is very comparative in nature. It's extremely specific. Like it compares two or more products on the basis of one or more product characteristics. So if you see brands like Tide and Ariel, they generally used to show comparative advertising. So Tide used to say that clothes washed using Tide, they are generally whiter, and Ariel than clothes washed in Ariel. Next is the reminder ad. So reminder ad, it reminds already there's an existing brand in the market. So it reminds the consumers about an established brand's uses, characteristics, and benefits. So it's more like a reminder. And reinforcement advertising is like they choose the right brand and the customers, they reinforce a message. Like already a message is existing, they tell them how to get the most satisfaction from the message. Okay. Next, I'm moving on to the next slide, which is surrogate advertising. The surrogate advertising is a form of advertising that used to promote banned products like cigarettes and alcohol in the disguise of another product. So this word surrogate, it refers to like you might have heard of the medical term surrogate mothers. So surrogate mothers are generally mothers who are used in vitro fertilization. They are generally surrogate mother, they are bearing a baby for someone else, like for some other parent. So similarly, this surrogate advertising, the product is being advertised, but that product is not the end product. They are advertising another product under the disguise of this product. So the banned product, like certain products are banned by many governments, including cigarettes, tobacco, and alcohol. So the banned product, it might not be projected directly to the consumers, but it rather masked under another product under the same brand name, so that whenever there is a mention of that brand, people start associating it with its main product, the alcohol or the cigarette. So let me give you an example. So this is a very famous campaign for Seagram's Imperial Blue. You might have seen it. It's Men Will Be Men. That is the campaign thought. And if you see, they were advertising Seagram's Imperial Blue music series. So generally in this time and age, people don't buy music series, but still brands, they are advertising music series. So the logic behind this is their music series, like not many people are going to buy the music CD. They're just advertising the brand name, Seagram's Imperial Blue. So Seagram's Imperial Blue refers to Seagram's Imperial Blue whiskey. So they are advertising whiskey under the guise of advertising a music CD. So this was the famous Men Will Be Men campaign. So similarly, if you see, you might have seen ads for McDowell's Century Soda. So as you know, it's a very famous campaign starring many cricketers. So if you look at this name, they are advertising McDowell's #1. That is the name that is being advertised. The soda part, like not many people are going to buy McDowell's soda. They're mainly advertising the whiskey under the guise of advertising the soda. So this is surrogate advertising. So this is another principle of advertising. It's called the KISS principle. So KISS stands for keep it simple, stupid. David Ogilvy, he has famously said, big ideas are usually very simple ideas. So the more simpler you think, the more better it gets communicated. So this is an ad for Chupa Chups sugar-free lollipop. If you see over here, like the ants generally they come towards lollipops, but the ants are avoiding the lollipop. Since the lollipop is sugar-free, the ants are not eating a lollipop. So if you look at it over here, the advertising is very clear, it's very simple, it's not very complicated, and the line is also very simple. It's sugar-free. So similarly, here's an ad for a weight reduction service. So the entrance is very huge, like it's for fat and obese people to enter, and the exit is for slim people to come out. So this was another print ad. So similarly, this is an ad for Volkswagen cars. But if you look at this ad, you don't see the mention of a car. So there are fishes and there's a hedgehog. What they mean by this is, the hedgehog is standing near the fish, but still it's very, if it moves a bit closer, the fish, the plastic pouch will get torn and the fish will die. So, but the hedgehog is standing in a very correct manner, very precisely. So what Volkswagen is communicating through this is, they are communicating the precision parking. So the Volkswagen cars, they use a precision parking system, wherein if you park your car, you won't dash the next cars that are standing next to the car. So this is another very famous campaign. So if you look at the person on the left, you might recognize him as Hitler, Adolf Hitler, the Chancellor of Nazi Germany, and the person on the right is Charlie Chaplin. So this is an ad for a hat company. So they are saying that it's the hat that made the change. So if the same person, he wears a hat, he looks like Charlie Chaplin. Like the difference between Adolf Hitler and Charlie Chaplin is the hat. So wearing a hat, it gives you personality. That is the message behind this ad. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. So this is an ad for WWF, World Wildlife Foundation. So the first image is the image of a shark. The shark is like showing its fin above water. So they're saying that is horrifying. The second ad shows the same ocean, but there's no shark in the ocean, like it's empty. So it's saying more horrifying. What they mean by more horrifying is, if sharks go extinct, it will cause a disbalance in the ecosystem. It's very simple, it's very straightforward. So this is another ad for smoking. If you see, I think it's very simple. It says, for more information on lung cancer, keep smoking. Very straightforward, very simple. Let's take the previous one. This is another famous ad. So on the left it says suicide. On the right it says homicide or murder. If the left part is the part which you keep in your mouth. So when you are smoking a cigarette, you are not only killing yourself, but you're killing others also through passive smoking. So that is the message communicated in this ad. So in this ad, it's very simple, there's no copy. Like a cigarette is positioned like a rifle. So they are saying that cigarettes are very deadly and it kills you. Okay, coming on to the next category, it's political advertising. So political advertising, it includes advertising or marketing communications about a political party, representative or candidate. advertising about political issues of public interest, and advertising in relation to government policies. So we have many political parties across the world in different countries. So the main campaign, many politicians rely heavily on advertising, especially in this age of the social media. Advertising, it plays a huge crucial role. So in politics, you have many undecided voters. Like many voters, they haven't decided whom to vote for, especially the younger generation. So for them, you see, advertisements help them to make a decision, and advertisement can make or break a politician's career. So here are some political ads in chronological order. So this was an ad that was used in the US during World War I, and it was again used during World War II. So it's a very simple, straightforward ad. It says, "I want you for US Army." So it makes, if you look at it, it's showing a person. So this person is, he's an American, he's a character in American pop culture. His name is Uncle Sam, and he's like looking at the person in a very serious tone, and he's, "I want you to join the US Army." So if a man, he looks at this ad, he'll feel stimulated and he will join the US Army. So this ad, it was proved very successful, and many people, they joined the US Army and they served during World War I and World War II. Okay. So this was the next ad. So this was done in the UK. So when the World War II broke out in 1939, many people, they were very panicking because they were scared of like Germany bombing London. So what the London government, what the UK government did, England government did was they released posters like this: "Keep calm and carry on." Like even despite the war, you keep calm and you go on with your regular life. So this was the famous poster. So this is again, it's a negative political poster. Generally, it's done in Nazi Germany by Hitler. So if you look at the ad on the left, it's like Jews. It's showing a Jewish person and a German person is blaming the Jews for the problems. So the ad generally is communicating that the problem for all the reason behind all the problems of the German people are the Jewish people. That's the message. And the second ad is generally showing a Jewish person very caricatured in a very caricaturish way, wherein a person of the Nazi party is punching a Jewish person. So these were very negative ads. So an advertisement, it's like a double-edged sword. It can be used for a good purpose as well as it can be used for a bad purpose. So you have to use it very cautiously. So yeah, so this is one of the most famous campaigns in this decade. The most famous political slogan, it's Donald Trump's "Make America Great Again." So if you see this ad slogan, it originally wasn't used by Donald Trump. It was originally used by ex-US President Ronald Reagan. But it became famous only after Donald Trump came. It became famous to a certain extent that Donald Trump, he trademarked the slogan, and they sold many hats with the slogan, like many red color caps with the slogan. So what is the rationale behind the slogan? It means America, it was like the US at one point in time, it was very great. It was like filled with many developments and wonders, etc. And but due to reasons like immigration, reasons like certain laws, it has become the progress has been restricted. So what Donald Trump meant to say was "Make America Great Again," but in reality it wasn't the same. Like it was just a message that was making people to say to show a past, a utopian past wherein things were normal and now I can make things back to normal. So that was the ad. So the next ad is Build Back Better. So this ad was by current US President Joseph Biden. So what he meant by Build Back Better was during the Trump administration, there were many social issues like the death of George Floyd and the COVID situation, and American economy, it was falling down and there were many job losses. So what Joe Biden, he promised through his political campaign was, let's build the country back better. Let's make things better. Build back better. So that was the slogan, and this campaign helped him win the election and become the president. So, like every field, even advertising, it has its own ethics and values. So, what are advertising ethics? So, advertising ethics is the way in which a company or a brand conducts itself and communicates with the customers or buyers by following a set of principles in a governed manner. So, there are different ethical concerns which advertisers have to take care of because they are the ones responsible for communication and messaging from the company to the world. So what is unethical advertising? Unethical advertising is the misrepresentation of a product or a service in some way, or the use of subliminal messaging to fit a hidden agenda. This form of advertising uses deceptive ways to manipulate or convince the consumer to buy the product or service. Another form of unethical advertising is misleading claims. So I'll demonstrate this with an example. That I have a certain number of case studies. So these are like certain aspects that determine unethical advertising, like fraudulent claims, deceptive claims, offensive advertising, stereotyping, comparative advertising, then sexual overtones, improper language, then excessive advertising. Okay, so this is the first case study. During the 1970s or the years previous to that, Nestle, the brand Nestle, had advised, had promoted its product as a supplement for breast milk. So they told even if your child doesn't drink breast milk, your child can use the Nestle food supplement and the child will be nourished. But this was a very misleading claim. When many scientists, they debunked this theory, and they found out that Nestle doesn't give the same nourishment as opposed to mother's breast milk. So there was a huge protest and there was a huge uproar due to this, and it led to a negative backlash for Nestle. So the next one is Axis campaign. So as you know, Axe is notorious for making very sexually suggestive ads. Like as per the ads, they show like a man, he sprays Axe and instantly he becomes a magnet and he attracts women. So these are very sexual overtones are used in ads to exploit. It's called like sexual exploitation. Like it exploits a certain image and it creates a false image in the minds of the consumer. It showcased an image that having dark skin is inferior, and it promoted the message that it created an inferiority complex. It made dark-skinned people to feel very inferior, and it told them that the only way of feeling confident is by using Fair and Lovely and getting fair skin. So if you've seen their ads in the past, there used to be an ad, very infamous ad, wherein a woman, she goes for an interview and she gets rejected because due to her skin tone, and she applies Fair and Lovely and she becomes fair, and she goes to another interview and she gets selected. So these ads and all are very misleading claims, and it created a false sense of insecurity among the population. So after that, certain celebrities, they also started promoting this. But in recent times, such ads, they have been called as regressive, and such advertising has stopped to a certain extent. Okay. Now coming to career opportunities in the field of advertising. So advertising is a very great place to learn and work. So So let us see what are the career opportunities. So the first department is the creative department. So in the creative department, you have art directors and copywriters. So art is generally, it refers to the graphic design part, like graphic designing, how to design the ad. And the copywriting, it refers to the copywriting part, like or whatever comes out of the advertising copy. So for art, you need a very strong visual thinking skills and designing skills. And for copywriting, you need strong language skills and writing skills. The next is the client management area. So client servicing executive, also known as account executive. You need to have social skills and business negotiation skills. Like the client servicing executive, they act as the bridge between the client and the agency. So you need to have negotiating skills. You need to convince the client. For example, if there is something, if the client wants something to be done within 3 days, but it's impossible and you can only do it in 5 days, you need to convince the client that it's impossible. You need to persuade them in a very polite way. So next thing is the market research. So market research, in that field you have planners. So brand planners, they have a background in business administration. They have an MBA background generally, and they help do research and categorize the brand. Like they do brand positioning, like who is the target audience of the brand, like how the brand should be positioned, like in which area should it be positioned, like that. The next, you have a very new field. It's called digital marketing. So digital marketing is a new emerging field of advertising. So you have social media. Currently social media is very popular, and even a few days back, I think on Monday, you had Facebook and Instagram. They were down for like a few hours, and in that time you see that it was a huge loss of revenue for both the platforms, because there are many ads being run on Facebook. So social media specialists, they have a huge knowledge of wide knowledge of social media, how it works, like platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it comes in handy while it helps them promote the product or service to social media. So here are some recommended reading suggestions. These are like famous books that help you get a more wider view on advertising, a wider perspective. So the first one is the famous book Ogilvy on advertising. So this was a book, although it was written in the 1980s, it's still relevant today, and many concepts in this book are used by advertising. It's like regarded as a Bible of advertising. So the next book is the same, another book by David Ogilvy, the father of advertising. It's called The Confessions of an Advertising Man. This is also a very informative book. And the third book is called Hey Whipple Squeeze This. The language is very informal, and it's a book used to a guide for crafting creative ads. This is also very interesting. So this is a funny comic from the internet that discusses the future of advertising. So if you see over here, it's like each product is talking. Like you have Alexa, currently you have Alexa that is talking. You have voice assistants. But this ad shows that in the future, even you will have like smart lamps, you will have smart furniture. So in the future, they are showing that everything is talking. Advertising is everywhere around you. Like over here, the lamp is talking, the voice assistant is talking, the phone is talking, even the food is talking. So advertising has a very huge scope, and in the future, it's expected to become more powerful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this great time over here. Any of you have any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Am I audible enough, sir?
Yeah, you are.
I just want to ask this, sir. I have been getting this doubt from a long period. Is are the advertisements of these times, are they apt for the scenario, sir? I would like to give an example. That let us take center fruit, just normal bubbly. See, they give a different type of advertisement for that. Something, and then at last they give just center fruit like this. So there are many like this, sir. So what would you say about them? According to me, they are not connecting, right? Actually, the advertisement is one thing and the product is the another one.
Yeah, so when it comes to center fruit, they use exaggerated advertising. Center fruit is like a normal chewing gum. But when you look at the ad, it shows that when you eat the chewing gum, it makes you speak faster, it makes your tongue dance. So that's a more cheeky way, it's a more fun way of advertising. But I don't think it's unethical, like it's just exaggerated way. For example, you have ads for energy drinks. So it makes a person like they are drinking the energy drink and they're doing something very extraordinary. It shows them doing things like that. But in real life, people want they want instantly get energy and they want instantly do stuff. So similarly, center fruit, it's not a misleading claim. It's like more of an exaggerated claim. It's like a fun way of showing the efficacy of the product. And even in the ad, you'll have a disclaimer that says it's a creative visualization. Like it's just for fun. It's not to be taken seriously. So yeah. Any other questions?
Question, sir, which I would like to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, please ask.
And then there are advertisements. I assume that they are influencing the society, especially the children or the youth. As you have told, there are some types of appeals, and in that we see this sexual appeal, which you have told. For example, sir, we see a perfume, right? Axe or something else. We see that if you use these perfumes, so we'll be getting all the women around us and this all. So by seeing these things, some youth and the children will be influenced, right? So what do you say about this?
Yeah, so generally these ads like Axe, they create a false perception of reality. It creates a false image. They're constructing something that's not true. And as you pointed out pertinently, it affects children. Like that's an ad being shown on prime time, but it's very inappropriate and it's very outrageous for children to see. So if a children looks at an Axe ad or a Durex ad that is being shown on TV, it will negatively affect them. So brands, they must have a moral responsibility. So ads like Axe, ads like Durex, they are very sexually suggestive in nature. Even if you take like many ads that are coming out nowadays, they are using high on sex appeal. So the problem is people, they are exploiting the sexual appeal to promote the product. There are many other ways, many other interesting ways that could be used, but still they are hopping on this. So that is a very negative thing, and it ideally should be controlled.
So there is a question from Rahul Kumar in YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Nowadays, many advertisements runs in a very short time. Many people can't understand the ad. Can we take it that the ad creators fail to convey the info to the people?
In the current scenario, the average attention span of a person. So how much do you think, like what do you think will be the average attention span? It's just 7 seconds. So you have only 7 seconds to make a person interested in something. So the first 7 seconds of an ad is very crucial. Since there are dwindling attention spans, since there are dwindling attention spans, what the message should be conveyed in a very interesting manner. So in the previous decades, we had ads that were television commercials that were as long as like 60 seconds, 40 seconds. Even you had commercials that were as long as 2 minutes. But in the current scenario, you have ads that are as small as 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. And in YouTube, you have these pre-roll ads that are only around 10 seconds, 5 seconds. So the challenge is to make the consumer interested in such a small span. So even if you see print ads, back in the 1980s and 90s, if you Google for classic print ads, they'll be very long. It's called long copy ad. But right now, if you see many award-winning ads, they either have a lesser number of copy or they have no copy at all. So due to the attention spans, the duration of advertising as well as the length of advertising has been reduced, and so that's the reason why most ads they are short in today's scenario, and many brands they fail to make the consumer interested in such a short span of time. So that's so while ideating an idea, you should keep in mind of the consumer's attention span, and you should make them feel interested in such a small span of time.
Sir, and one last question in chat box, sir.
Yeah.
Could you please share some insights on TVC?
Yeah. Television commercials, they have been ever since the foundation of the television. It has been going on constantly. So television commercials, generally they are used to it's the visual medium is more powerful than the print medium. So the print medium is generally for people who read newspapers, people who read magazines. But the television commercial, it has even reached the very person who doesn't have a very high educational background. And generally, as I told before, the length of the television commercial has come down drastically. Currently, you have ads that are only like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So, TV commercials, there are 3 parts to a TV commercial. So, first is the story. The story is the script is the main script that is there in a TV commercial. It's like the story. After the story, you have the product window. The product window is where the product is shown, the creative visualization is shown. And the next part is the sign-off. The sign-off is the logo or the tagline that comes to us. So that is the TV commercial thing, and it's a very powerful way of communicating a message. Any other questions? Okay, so if there are no more questions, I'll just give you all just a short interactive exercise. So those of you interested may do it, just a short one. So I'm going to give you all a small brief, so you can interpret that brief and you can do it. You can come up with a creative idea for it, a creative script for a 20-second or television commercial. So the brief is generally it's for a double-side reversible shirt. So you have shirts that can be worn both sides. So you can come up with a creative 20-second television script for a reversible shirt. So those of you who are interested can attempt it, and you can take like 5 or 10 minutes. Then you can come back and you can discuss the script. You can just make it interesting, like as possible. So meanwhile, like for the others, I can share the ads that I've done. I can share it in the chat section, so you can watch it meantime when you're free. Yeah. So those of you who are interested in attempting the exercise, you can think of a creative 20-second television commercial script for a reversible shirt. So the main USP means the uniform selling proposition. The USP of the product is that it can be worn two sides. So it's very simple. So those of you who are interested, you can attempt.
Students, those who are watching in YouTube, you can put your ideas in the chat box. Students, is there anyone ready to give your idea? Excuse me, sir.
So to make it easier, I could give you all an example. So I just thought of a situation for this. It could be like there's a bank robbery happening, a bank heist is happening. We see a thief who's stealing money from a bank and he's like running away. He's running from the bank and the cops are chasing him, like the police, they are chasing him. So what he does is this robber, he stops by a very secluded place and immediately he removes his buttons and he changes his shirt, he flips his t-shirt to the other side and he wears the other side of the reversible shirt. After wearing the other side, he just combs his hair and he walks the same path as he came. So the police, they are still running and they're looking around. They are looking at him and they're asking him, did you see someone wearing a red shirt run past you? And he shows, yeah, he went there. And so it would be a fun way, it could be a fun way of changing identity. So that's an example. So if any of you have any ideas for a short ad for a reversible shirt, you can feel free to you can either you can come on line and you can share, or you can share it in the text comments, text box.
Sir, sorry for the interruption. Since we have to wind up the program, will you please drop your mail ID in the chat box, sir? We will ask the students to send it to your mail.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Students, please note the mail ID and send your idea to his mail ID.
Yeah, thank you.
Students, do you have any other questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful speech.
Thank you.
Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the present of all other. I would like to call Ms. Mispa from 2nd MA English to express our gratitude.
The essence of all great art is gratitude. Indeed, I feel honored to express the vote of thanks at the end of this productive meeting. First and foremost, I thank the Lord Almighty for showering us with His blessings and making this event a successful one. Then, I would like to thank the administrators of our college, Reverend Father Rector and Reverend Father Secretary for their support. I deem it a privilege to thank Reverend Father Principal for his valuable words of felicitation. I would also like to thank our head of the department, Dr. V.L. Jayapal, for his constant support and guidance through all the activities of the department. Thank you, sir, for assisting and encouraging us. On behalf of everyone gathered here, I would like to extend a hearty thanks to the resource person of the day, Mr. Adrian David, who has spent his valuable time with us. He is an exemplary person from whom we have a lot to learn. Thank you, Mr. Adrian, for sharing with us your insights on advertising. I would also like to thank Mr. Kaiser Aaron for inviting and introducing the resource person of the day. Thank you, Kaiser. Also, I would like to thank the coordinators of the Muybridge Film Club, Professor Sam Jerome Sharon and Dr. Edwin Christie, for guiding us in organizing this virtual meeting. I extend a wholehearted thanks to the members of the staff of the department for their dedication and support. I also thank the student secretaries of the English Association for their active contributions to the department. I would like to thank all the participants for their patient listening and active participation in this meeting. Once again, I thank each and everyone who has gathered at this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Excuse me, this is Dr. Jayapal, head of the department. I wanted to especially thank, Adrian David. It was a wonderful session, very useful session for our students. Maybe we will have one workshop next year, right? I think it will be useful for our students. So thank you so much for accepting and conducting this webinar. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I also would like to thank the organizers, the coordinator, Mr. Sam Jerome, and the assistant coordinator, Dr. Edwin Christie, for their constant support to the department to conduct such programs for the benefit of our students. So thank you, dear professors. And I also want to thank all the students, those who actually participated, especially from first UG. And I'm really happy that you're all very actively participating. Thank you, dear students. The attendance link is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill in the attendance and leave the link. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adrian. You can leave. Thank you, Adrian David.
Thank you.
So, Chitra Jeevan Sadvik from first BA has posted his idea in the chat box, sir. Shall I read it?
Yeah, I read it. It was nice, actually.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Thank you to Father Principal, thank you to the HOD, and thank you to sincere thanks to Mr. Coordinator, Mr. B.L. J. Paul, and thank you to Maria Kaiser Aaron, very talented person, and I wish him and I wish you all very success and become successful people in the future, and best wishes.
Adrian sir, this is Professor Sam speaking. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. The talk was really informative. Have kindled the creativity. Do you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Yes. So if time permits, as sir stated, we can conduct hands-on training and workshop. The next semester we can conduct, sir. You can bring your team, you can share your expertise with our students, sir.
Sure, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, as our assistant coordinator, Dr. Edwin Christie, he wanted to please, sir. Mr. Adrian David, it was very nice to meet you on this virtual platform. And the whole department is very thankful for your wonderful insights that you've given us. And advertising, I think you've opened a new gateway for our students introducing to this field. And actually your session went one step further, wherein it was more interactive and almost like a mini workshop. You started giving some activity, and I think that has paved the way for us for the next program. So definitely we would want to meet you here in offline. We would like to invite you to our campus, and wherein you can plan for a workshop and give a hands-on experience on the various tools and techniques in advertising, which will really help our literature students in the future. Because of this pandemic situation, I think it will open new avenues for our children to explore more and to find an identity in the society. So it was really wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, and it was joy listening to you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a great honor to be invited to legendary college like St. Joseph's, and I deem it a great honor and privilege to be part of this short seminar. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we are also very proud to know that you are also a Jesuit product. So we are doubly happy to have one of our Jesuit product here today, and very soon we'll meet you, sir. And it was very interesting. So special thanks to your friend here, K sir, who has introduced you to us. And I think we will need your assistance, your help, your support for the future programs. So absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Students, kindly please fill the attendance form link in the chat box. Students, those who are watching in YouTube, you can also see the chat box and fill the attendance link. Students, kindly do fill the attendance link that was shared in the chat box. Those who are watching in YouTube, the attendance link is sent to the chat box also. Students, you're not having a fifth hour, so kindly leave the meeting after a few minutes. After filling the attendance link, kindly leave the meeting.
Dear students, kindly note, you will not have the fifth hour. So before you leave the meet, kindly see to it you fill in the attendance. So fill in the attendance, and then you can leave the meeting. Those who are attending the YouTube, those who are watching this program live on YouTube, don't forget to fill in the attendance. So once again, special thanks to all the participants. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.